All right, last thing here. I want to talk about leading and non-leading questions and as it relates to direct and cross-examination. Leading questions are questions that suggest the answer to the question. For example, if I were to say, when you looked outside yesterday, the sky was cloudy, right? Okay, see kind of what I just did there? I suggested in the question that the sky was cloudy. Or if I were to say, you've been in law school for 2 years, that's correct? You're talking about what that is and why that is. Um, you're suggesting an answer to a question that you're trying to ask. A non-leading question is something that suggests an open-ended question. So, a non-leading question would be something like, "Tell me about how long you've been in law school," or "Tell me why you wanted to go to law school," or "Can you explain what happened between 3 and 4 o'clock on September 3rd?" You're allowing the witness to answer your question without suggesting an answer to the question. Why is this important? Because you're permitted to use, and I'll repeat this in a minute, you're permitted to use leading questions only on cross-examination. You're not permitted to use leading questions on direct examination. On direct examination, you're only permitted to use non-leading questions. And on cross-examination, you should be asking leading questions. A direct examination is an examination of your witness, the one that you're calling, generally speaking. And you want them to tell a story. So you want to ask them questions that are open-ended so that they can explain what they're doing and how they're doing it, what they did, all of that. Those questions should not be suggesting yes or no answers to things. You should not be saying to your direct witness, you were around this area at the time of the murder, right? No, 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 no. You're leading the witness, and you're not allowing them to share what they've observed. You're testifying to what they've observed as an attorney, and that's not permitted. That's not your job. So on cross, you want to ask leading, open-ended questions that relate to sort of the 5 Ws: who, what, when, where, and why, and also about how. But on cross-examination, you need to use leading questions. You need to use questions that suggest a yes or no answer because you're trying to get at certain facts that will elicit a certain response from the witness, because on cross-examination, you're examining a witness from the other side. So if I were examining a murder suspect, I'd say, you were at the corner of 5th and B, and Avenue B when this was happening. Is that correct? Okay, and you drove a blue car to get there. Is that correct? Yes. And about a half hour later, you left and a half hour later, you saw somebody that you knew walking across the street. Is that correct? Yes. And you approached that person, correct? Yes. That line of questioning is me leading the person to where the facts are, and it's what makes you direct that examination in a way that understands that they're less likely to answer open-ended questions for you. So those questions need to be leading.